So do you want to take advantage of the moment when stocks are down? Where is the best place to put your money right now? Okay, I'm gonna answer that in this video and even give you some alternative assets you can look into. Okay, so first, when the stock market's going down, how do you make money? Well, one of the things you could do is understand that not every stock or not every sector or industry goes down at the same time. Now, sometimes they might. The perfect storm might hit, everything goes down. But typically speaking, there's usually at least some sort of industries that are going up at the same time. For example, right now in 2022, yes, tech stock is getting beat up like crazy. Retail stocks are getting beat up, like almost everybody's getting beat up. But you know who's not getting beat up? The oil companies. Oil companies in that sector, natural gas, anything in the utilities industry or sector, they're typically going up right now, right? They're going up while a lot of people are going down, especially with inflation and then how things are going, especially with shortages and everything else. They're doing great. They're making lots of money. So you could always hyper focus on a specific industry and go there. Now, just so you know, that industry could reverse and the opposite could happen where everything else starts going up and that goes down too. Everything has its day. So if you're really looking to be a babysitter of your money, right? You really like when I watch it over like this angry little crazy toddler that you've got that you can never take your eyes off of. Otherwise they're climbing up steps and falling, hitting their head, going down the steps, then you're getting blamed for brain damage and everything else. If you don't want to be that person, this may not be the thing for you. But it is an option because you can always find industries that are going the direction that you might want to go. Now, there is a way around it. Could you make money when the market's going down? In fact, could you even make money betting that it goes down? In fact, will you cheer when the stock market goes down? Yes, you can. The way you can do that is you can short stocks. Now, what does that mean when you short stocks? Some of you guys might have watched the movie like The Big Short, right? They talk about that. Now that has a negative connotation to it. There's even a Netflix special called Eat the Rich. The GameStop saga, where they talked about shorting stocks. In fact, big companies shorting stocks which drive the price down. Well, what does that mean? It means that you bet it's gonna go down because every transaction, when you really look at it this way, if you're buying stocks, the only time you make money is when you buy and then ultimately sell. You have to have both ends of the transaction. Ideally, you buy low, sell high, right? Well, what do you do when the market's going down? What if a stock is going down? What if you think, I think the stock is going to go down more? Well, you don't want to buy it, do you? Because you know you're going to lose money. So what you do is you short the stock. You start by selling it first. You put a sales price on it at where it's at right now, hoping that eventually it's going to come down to a certain point. And there you'll hit buy. So you complete that full transaction. Again, still buy low, sell high. But what you're doing now is you're buying it when it's lower. Now, here's the problem. If it does the opposite, right, where you sell it, you put the sales price at a certain amount, and the stock goes up, well, now you're losing money because now it is buy high, sell low. You could lose a lot of money. That's what happened. That's why GameStop was such a big thing because they were sticking it back to these big institutions who were shorting it, which drove the price down because they kept hitting sell transactions on it, which drove the price lower and lower. Well, when they started coming in, buying it, drove the price up. Those companies were freaking out because they're going to be losing literally billions of dollars in their portfolio because they were so certain that stock was going to keep going down. So just know this still has inherent risk. You can still lose money. But yes, you can actually bet against the stock or even the stock market. You can actually buy the S&P 500 SPDR fund, right? You can buy that and just end up saying, hey, I think it's going to go down. So let's hit the sell button right now and then watch it go down as you short it to eventually buy at a lower point to make money, even if it lost money. Even if everybody else is losing money, you can still make money. Now, again, to short stocks, same thing's required. You gotta be the massive babysitter of your money. You gotta actually enjoy this. And I'll tell you from personal experience, working with people that have traded stocks and options, it's much easier if you love the game. If you think it's so much fun that you would do it in your sleep, you like to eat, drink, and sleep it, this is perfect for you. Unfortunately, I would say 99.9% of people that I know don't want to deal with this kind of crap, okay? They don't want to deal with this kind of thing. It's not something that they love. They like making money, but if they start losing money, they've lost interest. So I don't usually recommend you trying to figure out what industries to buy or stocks to short and things like that. That's only for those people that really want to go deeper, get educated, and willing to really babysit their money. So here's 3 other options you can look at. 1, you can move your money away from the stock market. Most people don't realize this, even if you have mutual funds, right? You can actually move your money into a money market fund. You don't even have to put it into bonds. So like we saw in 2022, bonds still went down. So instead of just putting money into bonds or even stocks, you can move it over into a money market fund. You can move it over there. You won't make much money at all, if hardly anything, right? You can even move it to just simple cash, right? You can move it there. Again, Disclaimer, I'm not giving investment advice, but I'm just saying you have options that you could even talk with your financial advisor or broker about, which is moving it to a place where it's safe, it's stable. If you're worried about it going down some more, you could at least say, well, let's not lose money. Because the truth is, if you can do that, if you can at least avoid losing money, that's good. That's actually way better than most people who usually will get out finally when the market hits a bottom and then it goes back up on them and they end up losing a lot of money, right? We actually had one client where he did that. He kept feeling that stocks would go down. He would move his money into like money market accounts. He would move it somewhere stable. The market would tank. And then when it started coming back up again, he would then put it back in the market. He actually made more money than people that just rode all the waves. So you could do that and just keep your money safe until you know things are coming back. The second place you can put it is you can just not invest in stocks, right? You can avoid stocks altogether. You could go into bonds, like we mentioned that. But again, we gotta be careful. So you can move your money to other places. That leads me to the third place, which is alternative investments, right? You can get your money completely away from the stock market. You can move it into something else completely. Now, I'm not saying you just go and buy up any investment you do. I'm not saying go and buy crypto and things like that, right? Because again, you're kind of gambling when you do that sort of thing. But alternative investments are really investments that are outside Wall Street. Wall Street, specifically stock markets. But there's a whole bigger world called Main Street. In the Main Street world, this is where you see real estate investments. This is where you see people doing lending. You've seen people doing things where they're buying real assets. It could be even oil and gas industry. I just mentioned that earlier, right? Oil and gas is going up. Could you actually make money on it, not being in stocks where the companies may or may not make profits, but instead, could you be making money by leasing the land, buying the land before the oil companies do, and then leasing it to them so they have to pay you rent, and then they also have to pay you returns on the drilling that they're doing, on the profits that they're making. Yes, you can do that. That's where the alternative investment world comes into play. Those are the kind of assets that we generally like to put our money into. Me personally, I love it, right? Right now, even as the market's going down, I'm happy. I don't even worry about the stock market. Other than to talk to you and help teach you more about it, I stay away from the stock market. My money has continued to grow and increase. Our clients' money has also continued to grow and increase. All the ones that stayed out of the stock market kept making more and more money. How? Because we're buying real assets. We buy things like real estate investments. You know, most of our real estate investments and our investments that we look at in the alternative space make at least 10 to 15% a year. That's on the low end usually. That's kind of like the conservative numbers. Some of them, I got one investment right now has been making me 49% a year currently. I'm not saying this is guaranteed. I'm not saying everybody's gonna get it. Results may vary, yada, yada, right? But what's been nice is that that's actually generated not just returns for me and kept me from losing money because I'm buying real assets that usually hold their value, not lose their value with every tweet from whatever president when he says something stupid or some other crazy thing happens like interest rates rising or inflation going out of control or earnings come out and then all of a sudden the stock market freaks out because earnings are bad or Russia invades Ukraine or anything else, right? All these other things that affect the stock market, I don't worry about. It doesn't affect my day-to-day living because I buy real investments that work outside of all that drama. And that's why I didn't end up dating that. I won't mention the girl's name, but that's why we stopped dating. You know who you are. You're crazy. You're all crazy. You're like the stock market. I stay away from you, okay? I don't want that drama in my life. I like predictability. I like something I can count on, something that can support me and be my cheerleader while I'm cheering on as it makes me more money. That's what you should do too. Guys, if you love this video, also go check out how to make $5,000 a month in passive income to see how this actually works in your life now. Also, if you haven't done so, go and subscribe, like, comment, throw in your own things. So like, what have you done to make money in down markets? Tell us how creative you've gotten. Love to hear your comments below.